Welcome everybody to both sides of the conversation. I'm John Henry, Executive Director. Today is Tuesday, so you know what that means. We're going to have another segment of our Hidden Gem. I know the community's been reaching out. People been calling me, what's going on? Y'all haven't been on the air. Is y'all out of business? No, we are still here. Blessing the people. As you all know, we lost a team member, and it's just been a tough time. It's been a time for us to grieve, a time for us to reflect. There's a lot of things happening in the community. I got a few phone calls today. Some other leaders and some folks from our community passed away and transitioned on. Again, this year, 2023, have been one of those years of loss, change, a lot of things happening. And we're going to continue to just keep our heads up. You know, we are in some times right now that are challenging. In this organization, we want to make sure that our team, our folks, have enough time to process, go through the things that they're going through. We have individual team members who are dealing with tragedy in their families, and this is just a challenge. So we took some time off, and we're here tonight because Hidden Gems is always a great segment, something positive to uplift us. We have a special Hidden Gem tonight, so we're excited about that. Also, we're getting close to the end of the year, and I wanted to make sure you all seen our face and make sure that we are here to let you know what's going on, because folks is asking. Y'all know the rumor mill in the community. Oh, the bishop is going down. Everything is happening. No, we still here blessing the people, serving the people. We are getting ready for our annual yearly shutdown as an organization. You all know every year at this time of the year, we take a break. We give our team an opportunity to celebrate their families and do the things that they would like to do. So tonight is probably one of our last night. Our Educational Thursday guest that's supposed to be for Thursday wasn't able to make it tonight, and we'll keep you posted for Thursday. Due to whatever the emergency situation is, that that person will be available on Thursday. So if not, tonight will be our last show of the year, community. All right, we won't be back live until January the 9th or 10th, as we'll be taking a break to reorganize. There's a number of things that we're going to do as an organization to bring what our community needs. We're getting ready for our annual bowling event. We are getting ready for some amazing things to impact and bless the community this holiday season. We'll be working around all this weekend, next weekend. We'll be working around helping impact our community, help impact the stuff that's going on and how we uplift the people and do the things that we need to do at both sides of the conversation. So even though you won't see us live on our Hidden Gem show, our Educational Thursday, or our Sunday conversation, you will see us in the community this rest of the year doing stuff, impacting community. You'll see our team out, our videographers at a number of events, making sure that we uplift the community and community organizations that are impacting our community. We will also continue to update the community with events. Things are taking place during the next couple of weeks through the Christmas days, all the way through the New Year's. So please make sure you follow us on all of our social media handles. Check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We'll be sharing that information, LinkedIn, and keep the community updated of what's going on and what's happening. We have some phenomenal programming that we're going to be releasing. There's a number of things that we're doing behind the scenes. And again, I'm excited. We're going to be going through an organizational change. We're trying to bring some new ideals, some new identities, some new voices. We're trying to change what's going on and try to make more impact as we are listening to our community about how we could better impact, how we could better serve the community, not only in San Francisco, but across the Bay Area. Folks want to get connected. People reaching out, man, we need both sides of the conversation. I can't be everywhere, okay? I need some people to help support, and to all of the amazing folks that continue to impact community. Just want to say thank you. And we are just excited about a number of things that are going to be coming up and other ways that we're going to be able to impact community. Some of the events that we haven't talked about because we haven't been here. We had a great community town hall with the police chief and the district attorney. We was happy to be able to moderate that and bring some understanding and some clarity to the community. We know there's a lot of work that still has to happen when we talk about community relationship building with law enforcement, with the district attorney's office, and with the San Francisco police. We still got work to do. Hey, but it's a start. I am so proud of the residents of D10, how they showed up. and just handled that town hall with compassion, humility, professionalism, and just being the adults that we need to be. We need some leadership in our community. It comes from the community folks, the adults. So hats off to all of the amazing folks that came out. There's been some amazing events happening over the last couple of weeks with the Human Rights Commission, a lot of Dreamkeeper Initiative events that we've been a part of. Some of those videos and footage are coming out, so be patient, community. The Dreamkeeper Town Hall was a success. So many folks came out. Great to see the community show up, and just amazing to see all of the different departments who have been working to impact community out in the community and uplifting the work that is happening with Dreamkeeper. We are headed into a new political season. There are so many folks who are running for office. There's a lot of change coming. So we're going to be doing our part to uplift the information, what's going on community. This is the time to have your voices heard. Get out, do your civic duty. Choose who you want to choose to represent and lead. It's going to be very important that everybody do their due diligence when it comes to this voting season. And we want to make sure that all the community folks are getting involved, and just want to give a huge shout out to all of the young people who continue to grind through the school year as the end of the year is coming. Folks are doing their finals. Our young people are amazing. They continue to show up with all of the changes, with all of the things that are impacting them. They still show up ready to do work and uplift the community. It's been a tragic year. We just got news today. 900 teachers will be laid off in San Francisco as there are major budget cuts happening, and our teachers are usually the first folks to be impacted. Our mayor put out the budget cuts. There's a lot of cuts that are happening as we talk about the economy. Okay, when we talk about what's going on in this country right now, the economic issues and disparities that are going to impact the folks in this our communities in this country is detrimental. So folks, get ready, hang on. It's going to be a long ride, but we will get together and we will continue to uplift and support, and we'll do our part here to make sure all the resources for our community continue to get to our community residents and to folks who need that support. We are tapping in with all of our nonprofit city leaders and folks to find out where the resources are for rent. We know this eviction moratorium is happening, is ramping up. More and more folks are being evicted, put out on the streets. So we're going to be doing our part to make sure that families that need food, housing, clothing, and things of that nature, that they get it, and we'll be out there to help support it. As you all see, we are deep into the winter months here. I don't know about y'all, but it's been cold. These mornings have been very burr. I mean, it's real cold out there. So we're going to be supporting some of the coat drives and some of the folks out there that are giving clothes and coats out to our unhoused community. If you have extra coats, blankets, please get them out. This is some cold nights. Folks are dealing with cold temperatures, and everything that you could do to help assist and impact them folks will be very, very important. Even folks who are housed, as you all know, PG&E has announced they want to add another 10 to 15% increase in the usage of electrical and gas this winter season's. Very tragic stuff. As we are in these winter months, so many of our elders depend on heating, and when they're talking about increasing the electrical and gas rates at this capacity, it is just very tragic. So we're going to continue to do our part to advocate and find out what we could do to help in both sides of the conversation. We're going to play our part and find out how we can help some of these folks this winter season with maybe paying some bills and doing some things to help out some of the families that are just impacted. So we'll be reaching out to community. If you know folks who need support, please have them reach out to us so that we can continue to keep them on our list of folks who need support as we continue to try to do our part to help impact community, as we know our community need it more than ever. With that being said, there's so much going on. Let's stick together, community. We got our co-hosts here, the amazing folks that always show up. We have Brother Mark, the voice. He is here. Brother Mark, what's going on? You've been on vacation. You back. What's going on, brother?
Well, as always, Bishop, I'm glad to be back. Community, man, nothing but love. I've just kind of trying to process, take in. It seems like I've missed so much. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been on, but glad to be back, man. I've missed you, of course. Seeing Sister Ayo's beautiful smile, it's comforting to be back home again.
Man, definitely. just happy to have you here. You know, they say, hold on, buckle your seatbelt. There's a lot of things happening, but we'll get through this ride and this journey. And we appreciate you, what you bring to both sides of the conversation, to the community. Can't wait to get you out here to walk on the side of you, the voice with the people. Everybody's like, when is the voice coming to walk with the people? We'll be seeing you soon, brother. You'll be out here with the people. Well, with that being said, Sister Ayo, the queen of the platform, what's going on? I know it's been some ups and downs for you. I know you've been here. Welcome back. What's going on, Ayo?
Hey, we take a look and then keep on kicking, right? Good evening, community. Yes, Mark, it's so great to have you back. Glad you made it back safely from your trip and that much time needed off, just to get yourself in tune and back here with the community, of course. But yes, I'm looking forward to the holidays, actually getting out to the community. That's one thing I really do love and enjoy about our organization, that we are out there boots running, hitting the ground and doing the work with the people. So I'm looking forward to what would be kind of time off, but we're going to be in person with the community doing what we love to do. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, we will. Thank you, Ayo, for continuing just to uplift community. And we know every day it's a challenge, man. No, I always tell people there's so much going on. Just be patient, community. We're trying to do our best. I know folks are emailing me about the Bayview Collaborative. We are still putting together all that information. We ain't stopped. We ain't forgot. Information will be coming out shortly. Be patient, community. We're doing a lot with the little. As they say, we're doing a lot with the little. We're trying to make impact, and we'll be out there in the Bayview Collaborative information. We'll be getting it out. Hang in there. A lot of this stuff is going to be taking place after the New Year's. So get ready. There's going to be a jam-packed New Year because there's a lot of planning and things that we're doing for our annual bowling event. But we have not forgot about your community. I know folks is nervous and calling, John, what's going on? It's coming. Hang in there. Be patient. Give the bishop a minute, okay? It's a lot going on. We're processing a lot. I'm grieving, okay? I'm grieving, all right? Hold me down, community. All right. With that being said, so much going on in the news. I'm going to go ahead and turn over to Mark, let him get through the news, what's happening in the news, and then pass it over to Sister Al for the events.
Absolutely, Bishop. And I'll go ahead and jump right into the news. We're going to go ahead and start with world news headlines. UN calls for immediate ceasefire in Gaza as Biden warns Israel is losing support. The United Nations on Tuesday demanded an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in the Gaza Strip as U.S. President Joe Biden warned Israel it was losing international support because of its indiscriminate bombing of civilians in its war against Hamas militants. After dire warnings by UN officials about a deepening humanitarian crisis in Gaza, the 193-member UN General Assembly passed a resolution calling for a ceasefire with 153 countries voting in favor and 23 abstaining. The U.S. and Israel, which argue a ceasefire only benefits Hamas, voted against the measure, along with 8 other countries. The resolution is not binding but carries political weight, reflecting a global view on the war. The United States vetoed a similar call in the 15-member Security Council last week, and the Palestinian Authority welcomed the resolution and urged countries to pressure Israel to adopt the ceasefire. And also in global news, UK's Sunak wins parliament vote on deporting asylum seekers to Rwanda. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak emergency bill to revive his plan to send asylum seekers to Rwanda has avoided defeat in Parliament, surviving a rebellion by dozens of his own MPs that laid bare his party's deep divisions. Sunak, who has pinned his reputation on the strategy despite warnings at every stage that it would not work, won the first vote on the plan in the House of Commons 313 to 269 on Tuesday after last-ditch negotiations and drama in Parliament. Despite the victory, the result showed the Prime Minister is struggling to maintain control over his party. Moderate conservatives said they will not support the draft law if it means Britain will breach its human rights obligations, and right-wing politicians said it does not go far enough. And here in national news, Harvard board keeps president as leader of Ivy League schools following anti-Semitism backlash. Harvard president Claudine Gay will remain leader of the prestigious Ivy League school following her comments last week at a congressional hearing on anti-Semitism. The university's highest governing body announced Tuesday, "Our extensive deliberations affirm our confidence that President Gay is the right leader to help our community heal and to address the very serious societal issues we are facing," the Harvard Corporation said in a statement following its meeting Monday. Only months into her leadership, Gay came under intense scrutiny following the hearing in which she and two of her peers struggled to answer questions about campus anti-Semitism in the wake of the latest Israel-Hamas war, which erupted early October. The academic responses provoked backlash from Republican opponents, along with alumni and donors who say the university leaders are failing to stand up for Jewish students on their campuses. Some lawmakers and donors to the university have called for Gay to step down following the resignation of Liz Magill as president of the University of Pennsylvania on Saturday. And also, in more local headlines, a matter of safety. The Black Nurses Group moves conference from Florida to San Francisco. San Francisco's reputation as a premier destination for a corporate conference has taken a hit in recent years amid concerns about homelessness and street crime. But now, the city has lured a conference away from Florida after its organizers expressed concern about how racism in the state could hurt attendees. Originally scheduled for July 24th through the 28th at the Diplomat Beach Resort in Hollywood, just north of Miami, the National Black Nurses Association's conference has officially moved to the Marriott Marquis Hotel in downtown San Francisco and will run July 23rd through the 28th. This ultimately is a matter of safety, said Sheldon Fields, the organization's president. "We are literally the National Black Nurses Association. We have black in our name, and I was not going to put signage up in a hotel and potentially invite anybody with a gun or whatever have you to come in and potentially harm anyone." The last time the association decided to pull a conference for political reasons was when Arizona refused to recognize Martin Luther King Jr. Day decades ago. And the organization's decision to move next year's conference was made after 84% of respondents in a survey said they supported moving the event due to a string of state policies that Fields described as anti-DEI and anti-Black. And that will do it for the news. I'll pass it over to Ayo for the events.
And in better, lighter news, we have, as part of their fall exhibitions, the St. Joseph's Art Society features works by visual artist Christopher Birch in Traversing on Geographics of Blade and Bone, now through Friday, December 15th at 1401 Howard Street in San Francisco. The community welcomes you to the second annual Holiday Night Market and Block Party on Friday, December 15th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the In the Black 1567 Fillmore Street. There will be food trucks, vendors, and Kids Wonderland, and more. Join City Works this upcoming summer for a paid internship opportunity in fields such as architecture, finance, marketing, medical, and more. Eligible for current high school seniors and college students from San Francisco's Southeast neighborhoods. Applications are due December 15th. At the link below, Wu Yi presents the Holiday Pajama Jam for the Bottles and Blankets Pantry on Saturday, December 16th, 2023 from 1 to 4 p.m. at 4900 3rd Street in San Francisco. Experience a winter wonderland at the Ruth Williams Opera House on Saturday, December 16th, 2023 from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at 4705 3rd Street. The HRC invites you to the We Are One event for International Interfaith Blessings for Hope on Saturday, December 16th from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Conco Church. Donations are welcome and dinner will be served. Come out for the Lorraine Hansberry's Theater's 2023-2024 season, starting with a Soulful Christmas, a holiday concert with performances Thursday through Sunday, December 14th through the 17th at Fort Mason Center for Arts and Culture. Tickets are on sale now. The African American Shakespeare Company presents Cinderella, directed by Sherry Young. Shows will take place on December 15th through the 17th at Herb's Theater. Showtimes vary. For more information, please see the link below. Dreamkeeper SF invites you to join us for the community updates every third Wednesday in 2023. These meetings are open to the public via Zoom. For more information and the meeting link, please visit the site below. Register your school's team for F.R. Sawyer Academy's Holiday Hoops Basketball Interventional for boys and girls 5th through 8th grade. The tournament starts on December 21st through the 23rd, located at St. Ignatius College Prep, 2001 37th Avenue in San Francisco. The Village Project presents the 2023 Kwanzaa celebration on Friday, December 29th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at the Minnie and Levy Ward Rec Center. This event is free to the public. Museum of African Diaspora, invites local emerging and mid-career visual artists and art collectives to submit proposals for solo exhibitions that reflect the cultural and artistic richness of African diaspora. Applications are open through Friday, January 5th, 2024. Submit your application at the link below. OMI Cultural Participation Projects The Wiz, Saturday, January 27th, 7:30 p.m. at the Golden Gate Theater, 1 Taylor Street in San Francisco. The African American Arts and Cultural Complex invites you to the Season of Black Art inaugural event, introducing through October 23 through February 2024 seasons at the AAACC, kicking off a captivating celebration of Black creativity and culture with special guests and performers. Into Action announces the Black Cultural Preservation Mini Grant Cycle 3, opening January 25th and closing on February 26, 2024. From March 1st to May 31st, 2024, you can get up to $9,500 in funding for Black cultural preservation events in the Tenderloin, Lakeview, Sunnydale, Visitation Valley, and OMI. DKI announces the Senior Home Repair Program with up to $50,000 forgivable loan to low to moderate income seniors and or disabled homeowners residing in historically distressed and underserved neighborhoods in San Francisco. San Francisco Human Rights Commission has regular bi-monthly commission meetings on the second and fourth Thursday of each month at 5 p.m. in the San Francisco City Hall Room 416. You can also attend via Zoom. Fathers to Founders hosts child support clinics every Tuesday and Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 232 6th Street. Receive essential guidance on child support, debt reduction, resolving driver's license holds, pursuing custody of your children, and establishing visitation rights. For clinic appointments, call the number below. Dreamkeeper announces the Down Payment Assistance Loan Program. You can receive up to $500,000 for down payment assistance, up to $30,000 for closing costs, and connect with housing counselors, lenders, and realtors. Walters Wellness Group invites you to the Sip and Paint Center every first, third, and fifth Friday, where you can unwind and set the tone for your weekend. Fueled by tea, creativity, and grounding, hosted by Dr. Kathia Walters and the Walters Wellness Group. Join Fathers to Founders for the Fatherhood Reimagined Therapy Group sessions, held every Tuesday night, 6 to 7:30 p.m., ongoing between October 24th at 232 6th Street in San Francisco. There will be food served at each session. APRI is hosting the youth workshops, offering job referrals, resume building, skill building, internship, professional networking, and community service hours at 1301 Evans Avenue in San Francisco. To schedule a Zoom or phone appointment, see the link below. Come out to Fillmore's Friday Night Market every Friday from 4 to 9 p.m. on O'Farrell Street between Fillmore and Steiner for live music, barbecue, soul food, frozen desserts, retail vendors, games for kids, a dominoes tournament, prizes, and entertainment. Vendor booths are available. The new vaccination sites offers the COVID-19 booster and the monkeypox antiviral pill treatment. Thursdays, 1 to 5 p.m. at 330 Ellis Street, and as well as Saturdays, 12 to 4 p.m. at 1221 Mission Street in San Francisco. The community living room open all day, Monday through Friday, breakfast from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and grab-and-go lunches from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. at City of Hope Cafe, 750 Ellis Street in San Francisco. The San Francisco Office of Financial Empowerment announces Smart Money Coaching, which provides free, confidential one-on-one financial guidance. The program is available to anyone living, working, or receiving services in San Francisco in English or Spanish, with additional translation services as requested. The Bayview Collective and BSOTC are calling all Bayview community members to help shape the future of our community together. The Bayview Collective is conducting a survey to tap into the heart of our district. Your insights will directly influence the initiatives we undertake to enhance the quality of life in our vibrant community. Take the survey at the link below. Be a mentor in SFUSD. Join SFUSD school-based mentoring program, Mentoring for Success. Sign up to volunteer as an individual or group mentor district-wide. BSOTC is calling on conscious individuals and organizations to sponsor our third annual African American History Bowling event and awards ceremony. The award ceremony will be held February 24th from 6 to 8 p.m. and the bowling event will be hosted on February 25th from 2 to 5 p.m. For more information on sponsorship, please see the link below. BSOTC needs your skills and ability to engage youth. We are looking for community members to participate in the basketball recreational activities and mentor youth on Saturdays at the San Francisco Juvenile Detention Center. Stipends will be paid. Would you like to promote your business, nonprofit, or community impact? Sign up for our Hidden Gems show. Share your expertise on Educational Thursdays or be a panelist on our Sunday's conversation. Keep up with both sides of the conversation's latest shows and community outreach events. Follow us on all social media platforms. You can also subscribe to our newsletter at bsotc.org. BSOTC welcomes individuals who are interested in giving back to the community to join us as volunteers. We value the positive impact volunteers can make and invite you to be a part of our mission to uplift and support community. BSOTC kindly requests your invaluable support for our podcast and community engagement endeavors. We cordially invite you to explore any of our donation links, as your generous contributions will be greatly aid in enhancing our programming. We would like to take this time to acknowledge the Dreamkeeper Initiative and its support of BSOTC's programming. The Dreamkeeper Initiative amplifies the voices and invests in San Francisco's diverse Black communities to reform public safety and address structural inequities in San Francisco. To learn more, see the links below. And join us this Thursday for our last Educational Thursday, our last show of the year.
We are excited about that. Thank you, Ayo, for getting through all of those events. Community, there is a lot going on this weekend. There's a lot going on across the city. We have the Winter Wonderland happening in the Bayview. We have stuff happening in Fillmore, Collective Impact. I want to give a huge shout out to Booker T. Washington's team, to Shakira, all the amazing folks over there. Last week, they had a phenomenal Christmas giveaway. They fed the community, gave out gifts. They gave out some nice gifts out there. The community was blessed and impacted. So thank you to all of the Booker T. Washington folks for continuing to uplift and support community. With that being said, Brother Mark, let's go ahead and give an introduction to our hidden gem tonight. This brother, let the community know who he is and what's going on before we bring him up.
Absolutely. Let us roll out the red carpet for our final hidden gem of the year. This brother here was born on August 8th, 1966 in St. Louis, Missouri. His life was pivoted under the guidance of his mother, Miss Gloria Rice. In 1970, they relocated from St. Louis to San Francisco Fillmore District, where he was lacking a strong paternal figure. So he succumbed to the allure of the streets, plunging himself into a life marked by crime. And at the age of 10, he navigated the Fillmore alleys seeking belonging to a lawless lifestyle. And as he approached adulthood, fate dealt him a severe blow where he was actually sentenced to 40 years to life and incarcerated in places like Pelican Bay and San Quentin for 33 years, where he underwent a transformation and emerged as a writer and activist. And he's liberated himself from the darkness of his past. And in his inaugural book, Overcoming Gangs and Poverty, he vividly portrays a life that is entrenched in gangs and criminal thinking, exploring the factors that shape this landscape and tracing the despair of poverty in America. And in his latest work, Pathway to Renewal, which is a guide to thriving after incarceration, he serves as a blueprint for those aiming to avoid a return to prison. So, with no further ado, because there's so much more to his story that we want to get him up on the stage, let us formally introduce to some Mr. Rodney Rice. Brother Rodney, welcome to the platform. Glad to have you.
You got to unmute yourself.
Unmute your mic, brother, please.
You know, we can't speak with him when we on mute. You know, I apologize. I greatly appreciate it. I'm honored and privileged to have the opportunity to speak with you.
Man, Rodney, you a Leo too, okay? I'm a Leo, so I already know what comes with that strength and that leadership. But yeah, go ahead, and tell your story. I know we gave your bio out there, but talk about what's going on, because I think it's very pivotal that our community hears from you. You have some insight and some things that you could touch on our young people with all what's going on. Definitely, they need to hear this story. And go ahead and talk to the people, brother.
So first and foremost, let me always say anything that I say that's incorrect, credit to me for my own lack of knowledge and understanding. Anything that's said that's good, that'll shape and change the narrative and move our young people in our urban communities, black and brown, and to a better and more enlightened light. Credit to those people who have never had their voice heard, who sit right now today in jail cells when they should have been free, who sit in the alleyways or corner blocks, whether it's in Hunters Point or Fillmore or Devil Rock or Randolph. They credit that to them. Credit all those things that are good to the homeless and to those who are addicted, who just haven't found their way. Give that credit to them, because they are my inspiration as to not go back to those types of behaviors and criminal thinking. So with that said, he gave a really good intro. I don't know if I could top that, but on a serious note, my journey really began when I came to San Francisco. My mother, she came from a very large family, having over more than 10 brothers and sisters. All of my aunts and uncles have been married. They have lived more than 50 years united with their spouses. They live in a collection. I knew my grandmother, my great grandmother, my great great grandmother, and all of that. And my mother, Gloria Rice. So that we understand the context of my life and how it unfolded. My mother was an educator. My mother attended the University of Berkeley. She went on, helped in administering the Bill Clinton campaign. And so my educational background has always been that from which I wanted to learn, but didn't want to show. When I say didn't want to show, because I wanted to live a different life. I didn't have any type of positive role models. All of my heroes of the world was those people who lived in a very lawless, unforgiving, very violent type of a world, which was the Fillmore district. And many who have been here in San Francisco know that Fillmore is one of the most dangerous places to live, particularly back in that time when it was predominantly African American. And as was Hunters Point and the Twin Towers and all, Potrero Hill and all of these places from which they very seldomly exposed to the larger audience of America. So when I got there, I sought a parental guidance through those types of images. The shooter, the drug dealer, the pimp, the prostitute, all of these things who I wanted to emulate and be like, because that's what I was seeking. I was seeking acceptance, that type of validation and love from those people to whom I looked out of my window and saw. I wanted the pretty girls. I wanted the fancy cars. I wanted to be like the James Beasleys of the world. I wanted to, run around and sit on corner stops with Fillmore Slim and eat bologna sandwich, but drive a Rolls Royce, and so all of these things. I wanted to hang out with, some of my closest friends who like me turned out spending most of their life in prison or ended up dead. In the back of my mind, I just really did, it's always been that when we out there hustling in the streets, the golden object is that we want to get away from that. We want to provide for our families. We want our children to live better. We don't want them to see the types of things that we see, and so that's really the nature of hustling is that, they say, well, if you sell drugs, if you're a hustler, you can hustle anything. It really don't matter. You can sell T-shirts, whatever it takes, because the object is to get out of that environment. And most of the times while doing that, we find ourselves complacent and trapped in that environment, and so what happened with me is that I took that route. I sought the acceptance. I sought the love. I sought the validation. I earned my reputation in that type of environment. I did what was necessary when it came down to what had to be done to represent where I was from, which was Fillmore. I will always love and that particular place, but it's not unlike any other place. It's not unlike, whether we're in Long Beach or Compton or Watts. It's no Atlanta, New York, or the boroughs, or St. Louis, East St. Louis. It's no different when we're talking about struggle, when we're talking about an impoverished condition, when we're talking about the robbery of identity within the collective. So, we have been stripped because we want to seek to be somebody, even within our own collective group, and so that led me down a road that it took very, very long time to get back from. And I'm not one of those ones who gonna say, I turned out and I was this very great guy. I still fight those demons every day. I still walk down the streets. I'm in the business of public safety because I'm in the business of change. I'm in the business of saying that I'm not like those other OGs who put their foot on your neck. I'm trying to tell you that this is not what it is. I'm here to come back, not to be bitter or angry or to suggest, that we should lash out in some type of way that is not productive to us as a collective. As a people, Black and brown community and Americans abroad, it's not that serious where we have to believe that we have to resort to any option that's going to leave us dead or in prison. So I got caught up. I ended up in the youth authority, sitting over there in Tamarack and Preston, and I hated everybody. I just hated everybody. If you didn't say you was from Fillmore, then it was up. That's how I looked at life. Because that was the false indoctrination that I was given. That was the only thing tangible that I could hold on to, because that really meant something to me, and still to this day means something to me, because that's the only thing that truly embraced me, that truly accepted me for who I was. Good or bad, the good or the bad. Who I was okay. Now, I'm not suggesting that our behavior was okay. I'm saying that what I was seeking. I was seeking to be loved. I was seeking to be cared about. I never had a father. My mother didn't want to tell me about it. My grandmother didn't want to tell me about it. As far as I was concerned, he was a sucker because he didn't take up the responsibility of caring for his child. That's what every man should do. You lay down in that bed, you want to do the things that you do to produce that child, then if you don't do that, in my book, use a mark. And I say that because we have a collective responsibility to take care of our children in order to shape what they will become in the future. If we leave it to somebody else to do that, we see how that's going to turn out, because they have already set in place traps to enslave us in that type of manner. So, I went through the prison. I went through the youth authority process. I got out. I still had that same, now I'm around, when I'm in youth authority, now I'm around some people that they're just as bad from different areas. So I'm honing my skills. I'm getting better at what I do. which is have a criminal mindset, which is have an idea that I'm gonna get mine. I can care less if you get yours. In fact, if you get yours, I'm coming to get that too. So that's what it was. I became a very violent and angry person because I wanted what I wanted. I was being selfish. I was not taking into consideration my objective, which was to get us as a people, as a collective, out of the deprived conditions that we was living in. I sat in the Banneker homes. That's in Fillmore. I sat in the Banneker homes off the ramp before they cut the back ramp off. Before, when we can go down inside the parking lot and hang out in the dark with, and do those things. I seen that type of darkness. And so I said that something has to give. Something has to give. But nonetheless, this mindset was so succumbing and so influential that I didn't see nothing else. I couldn't see the light. I couldn't see the light in a very dark place. But my grandmother used to tell me when I was young, baby, I don't care how dark it get, it's always a light switch in the room. And I held on to that. It's always a light switch in the room. You have to learn to unlock your own potential, because if you don't, nobody will do it for you. Stop trying to blame somebody else for your responsibilities. Yet I went out there and I did what I did. Sooner or later, I found myself on that Grey Goose bus, on my way to San Quentin State Prison. At that time, you was going to Vacaville. That was your first stop, Vacaville. I was on the blue side, on the green side, and I was trying to jump the fence, and I was acting notorious because my friends had already told me, hey, when you go to prison, you know what I'm saying, you're going to have to make an example out of somebody because everybody there bad. You got to think this in the 1980s. Everybody's bad. Even the soft guy, he tough. So you're gonna have to put in work like everybody else put in work. And I followed suit. I did what I had to do, and before I knew it, I was a young dude, 19 years old, hey, you going to San Quentin. We shipping you to San. We're gonna put you with the big boys because you don't know how to listen. You're not gonna be able to shape you. I ended up San Quentin. I got there. It's always a racial divide. That's the ploy right there. We're gonna set this up, and it's always some type of racial dissension. And I took it and ran with it. I'm trying to find it. The group that's not like mine. First thing I'm doing, I'm laying the yard down. Because I want you to see that I'm not. Don't play with me. I'm laying the yard down. And so the my own people say, hey man, look, you are jeopardizing everybody. Because once you run over there in the crowd, we got to run over there in the crowd. I'm trying to go to the canteen right now. I'm trying to, get to the law library so that I can get my way up out of here. But you are being a reactionary. You are not being a thinker. You are not doing those. You say you're a leader. You say young people should listen to you. Whether I was young, you say the other youngsters should listen to you, but you're not doing that and living that by example because you're going out here and being reckless. That I still didn't listen. Before long, they opened up Pelican Bay, 1989, December. I'm on the first bus smoking before the shoe was even built. Going to AR, sitting on the concrete bed. But now, my life is done. My life, I had already told myself I'm blocking the whole world out. I don't want to hear from my family. I don't want to hear from my friends. I don't care about nothing. If it ain't about this prison yard, don't talk to me. You're not from Fillmore, don't come in my cell. And so, and before long, I ended up doing countless years in the SHU. I got transferred, ended up going to, Corcoran, participating in the gladiator program where the police is betting on us, putting us on yards, betting on us, who gonna come out in this fight, one black and 5 Hispanics, and again, it's all this racial divide to conquer and control from a white supremacist type of mindset and perspective, right? And so and this and keep in mind, these are the very things that play out in right here in our society in America. You know, it's just acted out inside of these prison systems because it's condensed and it's closed in, so we can see it for what it is. You know, in the broader scheme of things in America, we don't really see it because there's so many things going on, even though that's the reality of it. And so that was my life. You know,
Man, I want to jump in there because you hit on a couple things that's very touching. You know, when you talk about the impact, you know, a lot of our young brothers, you know, across this country are being misled, misguided. And it's a typical story that continues to get replayed over and over and over, that we see when we talk about the poverty, when we talk about the social economic impacts, when we talk about the single parent family, when we talk about dads being removed from the household. You know, right now, when you look around this country, when you look around what's going on social media, the gang influence, you look at the rappers, you look at what's going on and how that influence is impacting our young people. I do a lot of reentry work with young people who are incarcerated. And that story that you just told is a mirror story of what all these young people are saying. And when we talk about changing the narrative and breaking these cycles and trying to convince young people, I'm always in the business of how do we convince young people? Because I feel like we can't change anyone, right? People always say, oh man, you changing young people. I'm not changing anybody, right? But it's about convincing and planting seeds for young people to understand. And this is why your testimony is very important, because this is how easy our young people could get caught up in this system. And it's great to have you out here in this process of transformation and change and being able to give back to young people and let them understand, because sometimes they have to hear the ugly truths, you know, the things that we want validation and we want love from. And I'm glad you said that, because I always say young people are looking for that validation and they looking for that love. And sometimes the parents in the community, this is why I always say the adults are the problems. Okay, when we talk about what's going on in our community, it's the adults. Because we have these children and we don't embrace them with love and we don't give them the time they need. And then we have a societal structure that removes our single parent from the house. They have to work 2-3 jobs to make it. And then when you look around the community folks that you around, the things that you see, the access. And this is why I always say it's so important for young people to be exposed to other things in the communities that they desire, they stay in. Because when you give a young mind an opportunity to see other things that they don't see, when young people get to see other young black and brown males that look like them, that are selling, working with opportunity, there's a greater opportunity for change. But when you grow up in the projects, when you grow up in these areas, and like you said, all you see is drugs, violence, prostitution, and crime, there's a high probability that those young folks are going to be infested and impacted by what's going on in that community. And we see it now. It's playing out today. These lyrics, the stuff that's going on, young people are displaying what they're hearing, the importance of understanding. I think this is why it's important to have these type of conversations, because they have to see it. See, these young people that we are around, they are about to show me. You can't just tell these young people. They have to actually see it to believe it, right? That experience and that knowledge is what they need. But even with that, some of our leaders, some of our mentors, some of the folks who've been down that treacherous road, we have to also educate them about the level of how they produce the information to our young people. Because I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing from a lot of folks who are coming home, right? It's more glorification of the process and not notification. We need more of not glorification, but notification. It's okay to let the young people understand, because I'm not in the business of trying to scare young people straight. Because I tell them, you keep walking down the pathway, sooner or later, you're going to meet that wall that you've been trying to avoid. But we get a lot of folks who've been through the system, been through the process. The things that you talked about, getting information that was wrong, getting behaviors and information that was wrong. You know, how do we continue in your change process to also make sure that we're not glorifying. Because sometimes when we hear folks say, hey, you know, if you ain't been to prison, because I know I got family members who could have did potentially great things. But in their mind, if they didn't go to prison, they wasn't a man. They wasn't hard enough. How do we change that in our community? Because we need our young brothers to know going to prison ain't tough. Mm-hmm. Going to prison ain't making you a man. Representing these blocks is not giving us nothing. We need to change that narrative now because we are losing too many young people behind collars, behind street corners, behind things we don't even own. See, and as we go through these processes, we learn. Yeah, now we know, hey, it ain't worth it. I'm not walking around representing Fillmore, Bayview. I'm not going to do that because we don't own this. And I tell the young people all the time, when the people come down here and tear down the projects, ain't nobody shooting the construction workers. How did they rebuild the towers? How did they rebuild West Point? How did they building Potrero Hill right now? I don't see none of these gangbangers and these people representing the block shooting down the construction workers. So what are we dying for? We kill each other by the block. We don't even know. But the city bring the construction workers out. They come knock our project down and don't nobody do nothing. So it's the false mentality. And this is why we have to be mindful of how we program the subconscious to our young people. Because they have a false reality of what they're representing. So how do we put representation, validation, love, all in the same pot for our young people, Rodney? Give me some juice on that.
So let me hit you with this. You said a lot of things, man, and these is facts, right? And so the one thing is key. You say, you know, how do you convince? Because that's what I said. When I used to be on the block, I used to say, first of all, I'm not trying to glorify nothing I did in my past. I take full responsibility for our young people's actions today. Why do I take responsibility for their actions today? Because I left them there under their own devices. What I left them with was the idea that was the type of way you should live. That's the type of way you should think. And so I used to say when I was out there on the block, if you can convince me of doing something better than what it is that I'm doing right now, which is getting this money, then I'm all for that. Let's go bag it up like that. You know, and so one key thing about convincing young people is this. First and foremost, I don't never run around telling people my nickname. People who know me know my name is Rodney Rice. You gonna address me as Rodney Rice because that's the name that my mother gave me. So I'm not going to attach who I used to be, you know, which is some fake guy, because you know what I'm saying, that was the name that y'all made up for me to be. You know, that wasn't the truth. So we started the whole game off with a lie. You know, we started the whole game off with a lie. So, you know, we're going to kill the nicknames. When I talk to a young person, I don't want to know your nickname. What's your name? Let's start there, right? Now, let's start with you say that it's cool, you know, or you a man because you go to prison. What's manly about spending your life around a whole bunch of other men? You know, what's manly about spending your life away from the family or people, hood, block, homies, whatever you want to call it, away from that? Because those are the people that you say that you love and care about. So what's manly about being detached from them? We have to understand that. Now, so once we do that, we have to understand that we have to start challenging. See, because we wanted to be what we wanted to be like that from which we saw. You know, we saw all that crime and those gangs and all that stuff. We saw that. So that's what we wanted to be. So this is why today I challenge corporate America. Why do I not see long-term offenders, formerly incarcerated prisoners in corporate America? Why do I not see black and brown people who come from nothing in corporate America? Why do I have to receive a low payment, low pay when you are reaping the benefits of my lived experience, right? You need to start showing some examples. Why do you say you for the Second Chance Act, but you ain't nowhere to be found? You think you're going to shovel some money up under the table and then I'm going to go out there and do your work for you so that I can continue to oppress my own people? No, we're not doing that. You're going to get on the block. You're going to stand side by side, and we're going to convince these young people that it's okay. Listen, man, when I got out of prison, let me tell you one of the first things I did. When I got out of prison, First thing I did, because I never could do it, never have done it, I voted. To me, that was like, woo, we on the highlighted life, you know what I'm saying? Now my goal, I got to get the jury duty ticket. I want to, not that they were ever to say, go and, try somebody else, but it's the idea that you can see the very person who was out here with this gun trying to take something from somebody, right? Going to be told that he can't judge another person. But the idea that he was told to go to jury duty, because that's what you consider a respectable resident, a citizen in America. So I'm saying, like, if you see that I did it, if you see the same person who was doing the same stuff you do, that he doing it, then it must be okay, because that's what we say. We say it must be okay if I'm out there, he out there with the gun, he out there with the drugs, he out there doing the burglaries, he out there breaking in the cars, and in the houses, it must be okay. So you've done that. Well, it must be okay because now I got a job. Now I'm out here preaching and advocating for positivity, for long-term offenders, for lived experience, outweighing your educational background, because your educational background is based on how I live. So that's the study. So if that's the study, then you need to pay me for what it's worth, so that our communities can see an equitable growth. We cannot no longer emotionally and financially bankrupt ourselves. We can no longer emotionally and financially bankrupt ourselves by trying to live out somebody else's reality, by trying to live out somebody else's truth. My truth is that I'm not going to tell you my nickname. I don't care about what I did in the past. We talking about what he's doing right now today. Excuse me, young man. What's your name? Excuse me, sis. What's your name? Excuse me, sis. Do you have a job? Excuse me, brother. You got a job? Do you pay taxes? You got a W-2? Because that's real gangster. Technology, that's real gangster. You know what I'm saying? Knowing how these people have enslaved or falsely taught you to go against that from which they use, that's gangster. I need to know that. I need to know how they doing that. Don't let me convince you that we need to collaborate and partner up on trying to figure out how is they continuously putting their foot on our neck, rather than fighting and trying to kill each other. That's a waste of time. That's a waste of time. Now, I'm not telling you that because I'm about to go do a couple years in prison. I'm telling you that I went to court, Dianne Feinstein, walked through up McAllister, stopped over there at Ella Hill Huts, pulled out her bullhorn and said, if I catch any of you African-American males out here selling drugs with a Glock 9, I'm going to sentence you to the rest of your life in prison. You'll never see the light of day. You won't never get to kiss your mama ever again. And she stayed true to it. She stayed true to the word. Most of us ended up in prison. Most of us ended up with life sentences, right? So I'm not telling you from something I think going to happen. I'm telling you I just walked off 33 years of my life off a 40 to life prison sentence. So I wasn't but 7 years left on it. I didn't walk. I'm 57. I walked off 33 of it. Do the math. That tell you that I was very young when I left, right? And so if you think, don't act like you say you hard. You hard all the way up until the gavel come down and you about to walk off 100 years. Now all of a sudden it's first phone call to mama. No, it's all of a sudden first phone, because the homies ain't, you might catch a few on the letter, but I promise you, they, what I'm saying, they ain't there. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no whole bunch of packages dropping. Ain't no whole bunch of letters. Ain't no running up in the visiting room. You know what I'm saying? You on the yard, pushing, doing the burpees just like everybody else. Get in where you fit in. So let's not do that. Let's not do that to ourselves.
Wow, that was powerful. Brother Mark, I know you and Al got something. Go ahead and throw something out there, Brother Mark.
Man, first of all, Brother Rodney, want to thank you. There's something about those of us who've experienced some of the roughest experience in life that come out with the most passion and zeal for wanting to give other people the opportunity to benefit from our experiences. And as a transformational model, as you move to the more redemptive side of your transformation, because you're talking about environments, and so many of us have had similar environments, and you could talk about, as Bishop mentioned, the pattern of so many people who go through the system have the same environmental factors. But when you start to transform, there's a change in your internal environment. Can you talk a little bit about that corner when you start turning it and you decided you weren't going to allow the outside environment to dictate how you thought from the inside?
So one of the first internal transformations that I made, and I tell the story a lot. Like I say, I'm no angel, and so I don't want to profess myself to be like that. One of the transformative things that happened in my life was while I was in prison. My grandmother, like I said, I had shut off the whole world, but my grandmother still, nonetheless, she would use that number 2 pencil, and she would write me a letter. She would write me a letter once a month, send me a little money, you know what I'm saying? I never wrote back, you know what I'm saying? But I would talk to her on the phone and she'd be like, baby, and she would ask the question, when are you coming home? When are you coming home? And I would always lie to her. I would always tell her, I'll be home next year, Grandma. I'll be home next year. Next year come, oh, the CEO did something happened, the homies, I got in trouble, I got another year. And so that went on for a while to the point where she said, come on now. Like I'm like, you think I'm stupid or something? Like, this we 10 years in the game. You talking about next year, and so I told myself that. She said, just be honest, just tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? I love you regardless. And I said, I don't know if I want to hit her with this one. This gonna be like a heavy blow. But I need to be honest and tell her the truth. And so I told her, I said, Grandma, they say these things about your grandson, and they gave me 40 to life prison sentence. I'm never coming home. I'm never getting out. You'll never see your grandbaby again. And strangely enough, like, she didn't respond in no certain type of way. She just said, baby, I love you. Thank you for being honest. God has a better purpose for you. Don't ever think that your plans is bigger than his. He gonna let you go one day. But I can't wait no longer. And so the next day, we got off the phone and I went back to my cell. And the next day, a correctional lieutenant by the name of F.A. Rodriguez called me. He had been known for being respected amongst prisoners and amongst correctional guards because, he treated everybody fairly. So he called me into his office and he said, look, I didn't want nobody else to come tell you the news. I'm not sending a chaplain over there. I'm not, there ain't no guard. I don't want your friends, homies, or whatever telling you. I'm a man. I'm a real man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be honest and tell you something that's gonna really affect you right now. I'm like, man, get it out. Say what you gotta say. We in the lieutenant office, man. Too many people watching. I need to get up out of here. And he said, man, I just want to let you know, man, that your grandmother died last night. And that kind of took me for something, you know what I'm saying? I felt some type of way about that. The last conversation I had with my grandmother, the very person who I said that I was out here in these streets hustling for so that she wouldn't have to live a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? It's for my family, when the people that I cared about didn't have to live some type of way, just died. Because I always told her a lie. That's how I felt inside, like I killed her or something, because I never told her the truth. And the very next day, we ain't 24 hours in the game and now she dead. I think right at that moment, I told myself, man, this ain't what it is. This ain't what's happening. And I don't care what nobody say, and I don't care what nobody think. I don't care what nobody feel about me, you know. And I went on and did some very bad things because of that, you know, which caused me to get a lot more time. But the thing is, it was at that moment I was just like, no. I cannot allow for her to go out like that. You hear what I say? Not that I go out like that. I could not allow her to go out like that. You know, and so, you know, I did what most people say, what most people do. Like you have drug users that openly use drugs, and then you have those people who use drugs in the house where you don't see them. They functional drug addicts. They get high, but they go to work in the morning. That was me when it came to studying and learning and becoming conscious about how I could make my life better. You know, I was still going to the yard. You're going to still see the same guy. But when the doors close, I'm busting my book out. I'm turning the little light on. You know, I'm waiting till my celly go to sleep. And I'm trying to figure this out. Because I got to make this right. I got to make what she did, what happened, her telling me and dying. I had to make this right. You know? And so that was the beginning, when I say the beginning of the change. Now, when I got out, I still, you know, I'm not one of them dudes who said got out and say, I'm gonna really make it get cracking. I got out in fear. I was petrified. I'm in a foreign place. For me, it was foreign because I ain't been here in 33 years. When I left, they had a pager. Now they got the Apple phone. How you work this thing? You know, I can't find a payphone on one corner. So that I was scared to death. I didn't know where I was gonna live. I didn't know where I was going, where I was gonna work, or even what I was gonna do in my life. If I was gonna revert back to the behavior that I was used to, because that's what I knew. I knew how to hustle. You know, I knew how to get the money. But did I want to do that? And I had to tell myself, I'm not doing that because of my grandmother. And I'm not going back because I don't want to be the guy to show back up on the yard talking about, I thought you said you weren't never coming back. You know, which is the story of most prisoners. Man, I ain't even let me go, especially somebody who got life. If I ever got the chance that all these people got, I ain't ever coming back. And you wake up and you got here so quick, I didn't even get rid of your property. You know, and so I didn't want to let them down. You know, it's a lots of people who are incarcerated today who deserve to be out, who deserve to have this chance that I've been blessed to have. So I have to do the right thing. It's people in these neighborhoods right now who gonna go to prison. That's just the truth. Who gonna go. I have to do something about it. If nothing else, try my best to not allow it to happen. Say that I did the time for you, man. Don't do that. I gotta make this right. You know, and what better way can I make this right than showing you that change is possible? That hope that you're thinking in the back of your head, that's real. It can happen. You just have to have the commitment to put in the work, to put in the same type of work you put in the hustle. Check, if you out there selling drugs, man, you've been selling drugs for a year, you in the wrong game anyway. You know what I'm saying? You in the wrong game anyway. So let's try something new. Let's see something different. Let's go somewhere that we never been. I used to say, you from Fillmore because you in Fillmore. You know, back then, well, go over there to Harbor Road and see what happened. You know, let's see if you're really from where you say you're from. So, you know, it's taking that embodiment of who you are to other places and sharing that with everybody else. You know, I'm a bad guy, man. But guess what? I'm a good guy now, and I'm going to share that with the world. And I'm going to change the narrative. And I'm going to say that no matter how much time you get, and I say this to every prisoner, no matter how much time you have, it's possible.
With that being said, I'm going to interject right there. I want to say, first and foremost, thank you for your model behavior. and using your experience as the driving force to, motivate our youth and just people in general. I want to ask you, what was some of your inspiration and the positive motivating force behind writing those books behind you?
So my first book, which was Overcoming Gangs and Poverty, it was first really a tribute to the city of San Francisco. It's so that book is actually dedicated to Mayor London Breed, who and former Mayor Willie Brown. See, I was a street soldier. When they had street soldiers and we used to do the radio shows from prison, I used to write for the SF Bayview back when we were just handing that thing out. You know what I'm saying? And they had it in little, paper boxes. When I went to prison and Mary Radcliffe used to send me stamps, or write me letters. And I would say, Mary, we need to change this paper to this way. You'd be like, boy, ain't nobody trying to hear all that stuff y'all talking about. The black people. Listen, this is newspaper. We trying to sell newspapers. We're not trying to get community involved. No, we need to talk about prison. We need to talk about, and if you look back in this history, it shows you that, I said these things and I wrote these things in the paper, and I came out and I continue to do that. And I continue to support all that they trying to do because I remember those times when that was going on. And so that was kind of, when I wrote that book, Overcoming Gangs, I wanted people to understand first and foremost that we don't call them gangs in San Francisco. It's a turf hood or, a block or whatever. But the term gang had to be defined. The police is a gang. The military is a gang. The fire department is a gang, right? Because it's simply to understand that a gang is any collective group of people who are moving under the same agenda, right? And so first I wanted you to understand this. You give yourself these terms and labels and titles, but do you really understand it? And do you really understand what this poverty thing is about? And I trace this thing all the way back to the 19th century, when the Huns and immigrants migrated to San Francisco and began to live this turbulent type of life to protect themselves, from outside forces, because they came here to San Francisco seeking opportunity. Didn't turn out the way that they thought. And so they developed this type of inner culture, which we now know to be as gang, the Wanteen gang, then the Fillmore, the Hunters Point, and all of these things started developing, taking shape. So I can kind of give you a trace through, San Francisco history when it came to gang activity. And, we go all throughout California, but that was kind of like the base, the foundation of it, because I wanted, before I started introducing young people and those who were formerly incarcerated to my second book, which was Pathways, I first wanted you to be able to understand, my inspiration, became from, people like Leroy, or people like Adisa, or people like, Woods, or people who I knew who they was doing right. They was doing a good thing, and so, people like Fontaine and all these. So I saw all these people and I was like, man, I want to be like that. I want to, because like I said, I wasn't always doing it right. I wasn't always getting it right, and they would just be like, man, this dude, but I knew in myself that I was capable. I knew in myself as I was capable. Sometimes, you got to pull the wool over people's eyes so that they don't see that you got a bigger picture and a bigger plan, because they believe that they are the educator. I'm the educator. My lived experience is the education. That those people who are out there, that's my inspiration. When I walk out of my house and I see a homeless person, I walk out of my house, I see a dude hustling, I walk out of my house, I see somebody who don't have clothes. That's what I'm inspired by. Because I trust me, my mother was the top of her class. When we talk about the University of Berkeley, one of the best schools in the world, top of her class. So I'm not impressed by your education. I'm impressed and inspired by those people who are like me. who live the life that I've lived. Those are people that inspire me, but I also know that we are just as bright, just as capable, and just as strong as living and being, and just as skillful as you say that we're not. And so that's what I'm inspired by. And so as long as it's a homeless person, as long as it's a young person out there about to get themselves in some unnecessary trouble, as long as it's somebody addicted to drugs, as long as it's somebody facing a mental illness, because I faced depression and I was, and I always went through that, then I'm gonna be inspired to see that they don't have to go through the things that I went through.
Man, you brought up something that's very interesting, and I'm always talking about, where the gaps are, right? And you talked about something that's very important when we talk about where people at, and I always say in our community, we have people here who are highly educated, climbing the corporate ladder. Okay. And then we have people in our communities in the streets, been through prison. And there's a level of validation between the two entities. So, one of the challenges that we have in our community is some of the folks that are up here don't want to come down here, and the people down here don't want to come up here. And I think the only way we're going to fix this community issue is we got to get people to meet people in the middle, because too many times we have our folks who are in their sororities, their fraternities, and they have their doctor degrees and all of this, and they think, I don't want to talk to those people down there. I don't want, they're not on my level. And then we got people here at the bottom that's, hey, they not in the gang, they ain't been to prison, they ain't been through what I've been through, they ain't been through substance abuse, they ain't been homeless, and they don't want to hear them. And I think if we get the two entities in the middle to really make real transformation and change is where we have to go in the community, because both are very important and impactful to our community. We have folks who are highly educated and have a level of understanding, and we have folks who know how to navigate through the community and been through some things that bring that real life experience. But it's all systemically set up, right? Because it was always designed to make sure that we remove the educated folks out of the community, because if we keep the educated folks around the folks who are not as educated or in the street life, they was going to deal with revolution. You can't have people with that level of knowledge around the poverty and what's going on. So it was always set, to remove those folks and make sure that, they got outside. Very few stay and endure and move community forward. So as we go through these times, these challenging times that we're dealing with, because the very issues that you are talking about are being impacted today. When we look at the literacy rate, when we look at the prison to pipeline, young folks are graduating, they're not at graduation level reading. When we look at the advancement of technology and automation, we are losing our young people faster and faster. And they're building prisons based off the literacy rates, based off the educational economic opportunities. And it's a very scarcity situation that we are faced with, that we are approaching here in the next 5 to 10 years, as we look at AI and how it's removing jobs, and we look at what's going on. I'm working with these young people. They don't want to go outside of their community. So we have to break this culture, this gang culture, these blocks, these streets, and here in the city and across the country, because we have to get to reality. I'm working with young people now that they don't want to leave off their corner. They want jobs that just come to their corner. I'm saying, look, nobody's going to give you a job just on your corner. You have to be able to go outside of your community to get an opportunity. It's not a reality. It's not sustainable. And we're running into those challenges every day as we try to bring programming into the community. We understand the struggles. But when I hear young people afraid to go off their community because they're going to get killed or something's going to happen, and that's holding them up from advancing, I'm thinking, like, where is my community going? If you can't leave off your community corner to get an opportunity to advance your family, where are we headed? When we look at the amount of jobs that AI and robotics and automation is removing from the community as is, where is these young people going to go? We are headed. I keep saying there's a volcano that's going to erupt in this country. We are headed there closer and closer. But we have the knowledge. We have the folks who have the sauce, the information that's been through it. We have to come up with a blueprint. We have to come up with an opportunity to really navigate and really change the narrative. I don't know what it's going to take, but there's some real conversation that's going to need to happen. We're going to need to bridge the gap between the elders and the young people. We're going to have some difficult conversations in the future as community if we're going to truly move forward. We have to get to self-sufficientness. We're going to have to build entrepreneurs. We're going to have to build an ecosystem that's going to be sustainable for our community. We have to get ownership. And I seen something today that just shocked me, and I posted it in our Facebook group. A group of folks in Chicago put out a message to the Democratic Party that they said, we will no longer allow you to use us, take our votes, and not give us nothing to deliver. This time, we will not vote for you. We will go to the other party. Regardless, both parties are just destroying our communities. But when do we leverage our power? And I was just happy to see it, regardless of what the outcome is. We have to stand up. Whatever that change is, whatever that taking a stand is, we have to step and stand together. I keep saying the Black community, people get mad when I say certain stuff, but I always tell them, go check the receipts. Because the very things that I've talked about before we were here, I told y'all where we headed. We had conversations about Trump and Biden, what was going to take place. And those very conversations are playing out now. I keep telling people, I think we need Trump back in office. Maybe Black folks is going to come together. I still say when Trump was in office, American people across the world was more unified, resilient, standing together. I don't know. We need radical change to get these communities to walk together. We're going to need some uncomfortableness. We're going to need some things that angers us, because Black folks, we only seem to respond and react. We're not doing the intentional work. It's been proven. I'm doing my assessment. Every time Black folks get a Democratic leader in office, the social, the economics, the resilience go away. The fight. It's like we just bow down. I don't know. So I'm saying, if we need hatred speech, if we need uncomfortable conversation, if we need a legal process to happen to get us to wake up, I'm at a point right now where I'm saying I will take anything to invoke change in my people, radical change. We need it now. I need a spark, because what I'm seeing across this country, what I'm seeing in our community, the fire is dim. The fire is going out. There is no hope. We have more hopeless people. The fight, they say when you take the dog, to fight out the dog, it's over. I see a lot of people, the fight is coming out. People are giving up. People are hopeless. The suicide rate is increasing in our community. The lack of progression is going away in our community. I don't know what it's going to take. Maybe Trump being in office will get people back enraged, back fired up to step and stand together. I don't know. I'm looking for anything right now, because my young people are hopeless. My communities are hopeless. Our leaders are hopeless. There is no sign that I see that say, oh, I'm inspired. I'm just being honest. I don't see it. I'm calling for radical change. I'm thinking different. I'm saying maybe we have to switch the mindset. I don't know, but I need a spark from the community. I need radical change from our community. Black folk, brown folk, we got to figure out something, because I don't see the level of intensity that I see from the counterpart, because these very racist folks, these very divisive folks, these folks that are against us, they are stepping and standing together. One thing I can say, right or wrong, they step and stand together. How is it Trump is leading everything right now in this country? You mean to tell me that white folks ain't sticking together? You mean to tell me these folks that are against us ain't stepping together? They're making their voices heard. I don't know about our people. Where we at? We need some radical change. I need a fire to be lit. And again, whatever goes down in this election year, all I can say is blame the leadership. And this is why I keep saying the elders of the community must pass the torch to the young people. The Democratic Party has a problem with passing the torch to the young generation to lead. There's some leadership change that need to happen, because what's happening right now is this country is stepping and standing together. and they are telling the people, this is what we believe in, right, wrong, or otherwise. They're standing together. Where are we at, community? But with that being said, Rodney, I mean, there's so much we could go on, but I need to know a couple of things, because our young people are being impacted, from this institution. More and more young people are being institutionalized in our systems, and they don't even understand it. Talk about that transition, to go through what you've been through, 30 years incarcerated, to come out, like you said, the fear. Some young people don't understand when they're going into this system how rough and rugged it could be. How did you overcome the mental, the change, being inside the segregated walls, to come back into the community and have to navigate? What did that look like? How did you overcome? Because so many young folks, they don't know that. They come home and they just don't make it. How did you make it, brother?
Let me first backtrail, because you say you don't see this spark that you need to see. You looking at him. You looking at him right now. You looking at him right now because there were people. When I say me, when I'm not speaking about me, because this ain't about me. When I say you looking at him, you looking at that long-term offender. Them men and women serving my squad. Me and my squad, we go hard in the paint. We coming back after 20, 30, 40 years of incarceration, and we've demanding that we going to start this thing from the bottom up and not the top up. We're going to go bottom up and not top down. You know what I'm saying? We going to meet you, but you going to have to meet us. Because one thing we do know, this is what we know about incarceration. See, when they was letting the system go in and out, everything was working fine. Soon as you went through the mandatory mass incarceration, which Elizabeth Hinton talks about, in the war on crime, to the war on poverty, this is clear. Mass incarceration, that didn't work for you. Now you guess what? You got to cut us loose. You got to cut us loose. Now, many of us are coming back saying that, hey, that is not the answer. This is the answer. We got the blueprint. Pathway to the renewal is going to get you where you need to be, whether you incarcerated or not, whether you ever been in prison or not. This is what we got to do. We have to first understand that our young people, they are in control. Our young people, they are in control, but yet do not understand the power and worth from which they hold. They are in control. They do not understand the power and worth from which they hold. Because we, meaning those elders to whom you speak about, who don't want to pass the torch, are doing so because they need to be in control of themselves, like a competition. They don't ever want to say, hey man, we wrong. We need to, that worked in our time, but you need to, it's your turn. They don't want to do that because that make them feel good. That make them feel like they somebody. That make them feel like, I got a little more money than you. I drive a better car than yours. You have become like the very people who you say you against. Right? So far as I'm concerned, you one of them. These young people out here, they one of us. Them people serving them long-term prison sentences who took the time to educate themselves, to wake up their mind, come back with a better platform, with a better blueprint. Them is the ones who gonna make this, who gonna turn this thing. These are the ones who gonna bring about that radical spark that you're looking for, right? Because guess what? You can't fool us. We can't go catch a body count and then say we gonna go out there, tell the world that we didn't do it, but then try to convince each other that, hey man, we didn't do that. Right? We did that, bro. Stop that. So don't come to. So we're not coming like that. We coming because we saying that what we need to give this torch to our young people. We need to demand for our young people that I don't care. You ain't got to give me one dime. You know what I'm saying? But you're going to pay that young mother or that young father who had to take care of 3 kids because you have forced him to be an adult when he was still a child or she was still a child. them are the ones you're gonna give it to. If I got to figure out whatever I got to do, I promise you, the community gonna get it back. I promise you. When I say this, and look at me when I tell you, Rodney Rice say the community is gonna get it back.
Well, I'm there on the side of you, Rodney. I know there's people out here making change, but when I'm speaking of the masses, we gotta always uplift. We got some work to do. But I'm happy to be walking in space with you, knowing that you and others are doing the work. I'm trying to do my part. But when you look at the masses, we got some work to do. I'm still going to continue to fight, but I'm looking for that radical change from our people. I don't know what it's going to take, but we need it now more than ever. But what I want to do is get up. You got some PowerPoints, some pictures up here. I wanted to walk you through some of those before we get you out of here tonight. Oh, let me see how I can get these pictures up here. Hold on. Let me get them up here. I'm get them up here right.
Come on, with all them skills you got, man. You got so many skills. You got skills. Right,
hold on a second. There we go. Walk us through these slides and let us know what's going on, brother.
So that's me where you see the Fire and Ice. The Fire and Ice, representing the good and the bad, who went from a notorious criminal with the criminal mindset and thinking to a prolific, impactful public speaker and author who is going to tell you the truth. The way that the truth should be delivered to you is not to accept that I'm greater than anybody else because we all the same. So that's that image with the books in the background because we got to study. Though these are many of the people, men that I speak about. The LV the Don, who is a very popular hip hop artist here in San Francisco. Leroy Fontaine, Adiza, my partner Darius Coleman, Sherman Red, David Stones. All of these people who have served more than 25 years in prison, coming back making positive change in their communities. That's a book cover from Pathway to Renewal, the guide to thriving after incarceration to show that it is possible, step-by-step blueprint. If you put in the work, you're going to succeed, the success from which you have always dreamed about. That is an outline. And you see I had the prisoners studying, doing their homework, putting in the work. We put Gavin Newsom on there because he signed in the Second Chance Act, made those things possible with Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and London Breed with the banner box and all of these things. But the image is and of course myself, because I'm from San Francisco, representing San Francisco, and let you know that no matter what community that you come from, you can become somebody. You will become somebody because it was destined for you to become somebody.
Is that the last slide? Let me see. I'm trying to get through. That's the last slide.
Yeah. I just told him to throw up 3 because we don't want to give all
the sauce up.
Yeah, we don't want to give all the sauce up. You're gonna have to go out to Amazon and get that thing, man.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and support you because this is our last Hidden Gem show of the year. Every hidden gem that come on here, we always support. So I'm gonna have my team go out, pick up some copies, okay? Because I got some young people that I'm working with in the youth jail in San Francisco, and some other folks that I'm about to start working with in some of the other jails. And I want to make sure this book go to the young people. This pathway for renewal. When we talk about incarceration, second chances, we thank God that you are here doing the work, stepping with the people. So we're going to pick up some books. We'll give them to our young people. We'll give them to some folks in the community because we want to support you. And we want to uplift and acknowledge the work you're doing. It takes a lot to go through what you've been through 33 years, man, and losing your grandmother and sparking that fire to keep you going on the right track. I think it's very important and powerful and impactful. And I always tell young people when they come in, I say, hey, you locked up. You never know who you'll lose when you're behind the walls. So many times the young people are impacted by loved ones, friends, that they lose behind the walls and say, hey, when you locked up, you ain't getting no, let me sit at the front row at the funeral. So make your rights and your wrongs right. Make sure you tell your loved ones, think about these decisions that you're making when you're out there on these streets, because once you remove from your family, you in this system, you don't know what's going to happen when you locked up. But there's opportunities for our young people. You are a bright, shining light of what a second chance look like. I'm always going to advocate for a second chance. And I always tell folks in the community, when folks come home from doing this time, have capacity, have patience. give these young folks and these people that's coming home an opportunity. We have to create pathways within our organizations in the city, within the reentry program. We can't have folks coming home waiting 18 weeks to get into cohorts and programming. We have to create opportunities as soon as they leave the walls and come back to the community, that they have support and resources. And we have to do our part to be intentional to make sure that the services that we are providing are comparable and accessible to the folks that's coming home back into our community. It takes a village of people. It takes opportunities, a number of different pathways to bring home and foster those opportunities for folks coming home for a second chance. And that's what we're going to continue to uplift and support. Rodney, you are creating that pathway, brother, and just want to say thank you for getting here. You told me you had a story to tell. Very powerful. Again, the only way we change community is by telling our testimonies and our stories. And I always tell people, especially for Black men in our community, the more vulnerable we are to speak up and talk about other folks and what's going on, more and more young men and men in the community will start to make that change. It's something about we have to see it to believe it. And your story is definitely a powerful story to uplift and change the community, folks. So with that being said, brother, before we let you go, I want you to give any shout outs to anybody that you want to just uplift before you leave today. I know there's a lot of folks that have impacted you, been around you through this transformation and through this change, but this is the time to do it. Talk about your book, where folks can get it. This is that time, brother. Go ahead and talk to the people.
So first and foremost, you can get them books, Overcoming Gangs and Poverty and Pathway to the Renewal to Thriving, A Guide to Thriving After Incarceration on Amazon. My goal for those books is, particularly that book Pathway, is just make sure that that's a mandatory issue in every county jail, every prison system, every reentry program, that's a standard issue. Just like you gonna issue me the toothbrush in the Dove prison soap, that you need to be issuing me a book on how to make my life better, and that's the blueprint for you to get where you need to be in life, right? I always got to shout out my squad, those people that I do this work with. First and foremost is my fiance Maria Morales Rice, who taught me the family and social dynamic. Had something that I had never had, even though I had thought that I had that from a family. My close friends, Adisa, Leroy, Tyrone, Fontaine, Sherman, Sticks, Terrence Blake, my young partner Mel, still out there, trying to find his way. It's so many others, man. I don't want to be bogged down, because we're not looking, when we say shout outs, we're not looking for our names to be heard. We're looking for our actions to be felt, right? And so our names will always go unsolid, because I speak for those people who never had the opportunity to be on a platform where their voice could be heard. And so those are the people to whom I want to shout out. I want to shout out every young man, woman, and child who's still out there to this day, not being able to have their voice heard. So it goes to them first and foremost. I also want to say, before I leave, before we close this thing out, man, if I have, and like I said as I began, anything that I said is incorrect, credit to me for my lack of knowledge, and anything that is good and foster a hope and change within our communities, credit that to our communities and the people that live in those urban spaces, right? The final thing is this. Remember this. I say this to every young person. My name is Rodney Raines. I had a 40 to life sentence. I served 33 years of it. Going to prison don't make you somebody. Going to prison don't make you somebody. Being there for those people in your community, being there for your family, your friends, your children, that's what make you somebody. I ain't nobody because I went to prison. I ain't nobody because I went out there and did the things that I did. I would have been somebody had I took up the responsibility of being there for the people to whom I said that I cared about. So if you're going to do anything, be there for the people who you say you for. And you can't do that from prison.
Wow, very powerful stuff, brother. Thank you for being here tonight on our Hidden Gem segment. This is a good way to end the year off. A story of redemption, a story of second chance. Man, brother, you are here. Shout out to Terrence Blake. I got to get him on. He's supposed to be coming on. I know he's coming, brother. T, reach out to me. Very powerful brother, very consistent brother. And he's doing some amazing work as well. Man, Brother Rodney, all I can say, very powerful. Anything that we could do to help support you here at both sides of the conversation, we will do that. If you have any events, any speaking engagement things coming up, you want us to get out to the community, please reach out to us. Send it to events@bsotc.org, and we'll make sure we get that out to the community. Again, I'm touched. I'm inspired tonight. I got to go speak to my young people tomorrow at Juvenile Hall. You gave me a new light.
Man, I'm still waiting on that, man. I sent you an email on that basketball thing, man. We need to get on that, man.
Definitely. My team will be reaching out to you. And again, I appreciate you, brother, and continue to be great. Continue to keep that fire that I'm talking about lit, because we need a greater light and fire. And I know you're putting a lot of work in, brother, and we appreciate you. Continue to be great this holiday season. Continue to uplift the people. Be safe. Enjoy the holidays. We'll be in contact. Our team will be picking up your book, and we'll make sure we get it to the young people that we serve. I promise you, I'm a man of my word. We will get your book into the jails for the young people. Thank you again for coming on. Thank you for being a transformational leader. Thank you for taking the struggle, the pain, the things you've been through, turning into something positive, and changing the mind of folks who think second chances ain't worth it. You are an example of what can happen when you invest and you do the things that you need to do to uplift yourself. So thank you again, brother. Have a great end of the year and the New Year's, and we're looking forward to connecting with you after the New Year's, brother.
Thank you for having me.
All right, King. Have a good evening. See you soon, brother.
Likewise.
All right. All right, there you go, man. The voice had to step out of here. A lot of things happening. Wow, what a great Hidden Gem segment tonight. As we end out the year, we should have Educational Thursday segment. Our guest that was supposed to be here tonight was also going to be facilitating the Educational Thursday. So we'll let you all know. If not, this will be the last segment of the year. I'm excited because it's a time of closing out the year, starting over, refreshing. Just so many things happening, so many opportunities. I'm looking forward to greatness that's coming in 2024. I don't know. In 2024, I'm knocking on the door of opportunity. Somebody is going to open up a door. I don't know where it's coming from, but I know in 2024, there's going to be some change. There's going to be some pain. There's going to be some things, but I know there's going to be a door of opportunity that is opening up. With that being said, before I give you all the year-end benediction, Sister Ayo, come on, close out. Tell me what's going on. What you feeling?
I agree. That was a great segment. If it is our last show of the year, I think that's a great way to end the year and to begin the new year of understanding that everybody gets another chance, no matter what walk that you had in life. He said something really inspirational when he said, wanting to get more people like us and our faces in these corporate offices, in these spaces where they're reaping the benefits of our experiences. That was very, very powerful to me. You see how they're able to break everything down systematically and how they're able to keep us conditioned. But if we were able to get more of our faces in those spaces to have a positive influence in working from our experimenting and experiences, there will be a profound change in our communities. I appreciate Brother Rodney for coming on this evening and sharing his testimony, sharing his experience to get his voice out there to help navigate maybe one of our young viewers tonight that can say, you know what, it's not all it's cracked up to be, because there's only two ways it's going to lead with that lifestyle: in a box or in a cell. And fortunately, we have model citizens who are actually doing the work to show the transformation through the works that they're doing, the lives that they're living, and coming out to have that voice to influence our youth. And not only our youth, the adults that are out there. One thing you always say, it's up to the adults, and what they're doing. They don't have many leaders out there to look up to. So when you're glorifying that street life, just remember there's a child looking up to you. Just remember there's who the hope for our future is looking up to you. If you want a better tomorrow, make sure that you're doing and getting the best out of today. Thank you.
Now I gotta stop you there because I tell my young people this, okay? I can't say it's only two ways out in the street life because I always tell my young people it ain't just dead or jail. Sometimes it's substance abuse forever. Sometimes it's homelessness. Sometimes it's mental health. There's many ways you can be impacted by this street life. You can get taken out many ways. And we just hope it ain't none of the ways, but it's more than two ways. Because I want my young people out there to know you don't just think you're gonna get shot or stabbed or you go.
But if you're living in the street life and you do turn to substance abuse, where does that lead you?
It sometimes leads you to death. Sometimes it leads you to losing your mind. You don't always go to jail. Sometimes
it's the same, right? It's the same options, right?
Sometimes you leaning over on 7th Street all day and all day. I don't know. There's just more than one way. I don't know. I just got to give you pushback on that. I don't know. I always tell my young people, don't think there's only two ways to go out. Sometimes you lose your mind. Some people never get their mind back. But thank you for your conclusion of the year. Okay, community, y'all heard it from me. This is our last Hidden Gem segment of the year. This has been an impactful year. Check us out. We're going to be putting together some recaps at the end of the year, some of the shows so y'all can see some of the stuff that took place this year on this platform, some of the stuff we've done in the community. You know, people out there lying. Both sides of the conversation, we don't do anything. I'm going to show you all the amazing work that we've been impacting community this year as our marketing team puts together a phenomenal end of the year segment. We're going to be playing some of this, posting on YouTube to share some of the events that we are involved with, some of the shows, some of these hidden gems, some of these amazing business owners, amazing community folks like Rodney that's doing positive things to impact our community. We'll be putting together a year-end wrap-up to let everybody know this is what's been going on. So some of you folks that's tuning in, this is your first time, are you just following us? And what do they do? We'll put together a nice clip for the community so you guys can see some of the things that we were a part of, some of the things that we help impact our community as we continue to change the narrative and uplift the voices of the people as we end this year out. Again, we're going to give our condolences to all of our families and folks who lost loved ones over this year as folks continue to grieve as we approach the end of the year. So much loss this year. So many tragic things have happened in our community. We will continue to stand up and fight and push forward and uplift the people. But again, this year 23 has been just something to me. And I don't know, like Rodney said, you know, from the ghetto streets to the executive suites or to the senator seats, we need some people that are going to make change the faces and change the narrative of what's going on in this country. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of folks to be dedicated, consistent, and standing up to make impactful change. And we'll be there standing on side of the folks, uplifting those folks and making sure that those folks are acknowledged and uplifted. And we want to make sure our community know where they at and what they're doing and how they impact the community. So we're going to continue to do that. Our renewal will be coming back for our first show after the New Year's on January the 10th. That'll be our first Hidden Gem segment, and we'll be pushing on from there for all of our folks who are closing this year out, trying to start their new businesses, trying to get their stuff off the ground. Please reach out to us. We want to make sure we highlight you, give you that support, give you that boost. So when you kick off the new year with your new business, with your new opportunities, that community know where you at. To all of my Educational Thursday folks who sit back saying, oh, I got something I want to share with the community. We're looking for you to sign up and do a presentation. I've already reached out to some phenomenal folks that's going to be coming on talking about the work that they're doing to impact community. Maybe that is you. You have some information that you need to share with our community. You have a PowerPoint presentation that'll bring some intentional information and education to our community. Make sure you sign up for our Educational Thursday. And in our Sunday conversation, we're going to kick off the new year with some phenomenal conversations as we continue to find a way to break down the stigma conversations and the taboo conversations that impact our Black and brown communities and communities as a whole. There's still relationship building that needs to happen. There's things that need to be talked about and fought about in this new year as we approach the election season. There's going to be a lot of controversies and comments and people misunderstandings. And I just hope through this year we'll be able to bring the information and bring the things that our community need to know as we continue to bring awareness and education to our community. With that being said, This is the last benediction of the year from the bishop. You will see me out in community. I will serve the people. I will be where the people be always. But this is the last benediction of the year. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know if I can make it to the end of this. People call me, where is my benediction? I'm going to give it to y'all tonight. With that being said, tonight, community, our last Hidden Gem segment of the year, has been transformative. This show tonight has talked about a number of things that impact our community. We talk about incarceration. When we talk about the level of commitment, you've seen it tonight. Rodney came here tonight talking about what change look like. You can have a wrong path in your life. You can take the wrong turn, but with love, with patience, with understanding, you can make the right turn. Tonight, Rodney is creating a pathway for community. He wrote a book about overcoming some of the obstacles that the people in our community sometimes can't overcome. Sometimes we need a blueprint. Sometimes we need a mentor. Sometimes we need the information that is needed to move us forward. Tonight, Rodney gave you the sauce. He gave you the information. You don't have to go down that pathway. Young people, hear the brother. There's nothing cool about leaving school. There is nothing cool about being behind the prison wall. You can be somebody without going through the institution, without putting yourself through the trauma and pain, because sometimes when we put ourselves in those situations, the very ones we love, the very ones that we fight for, might not be there when we come home. Young people in the community, adults in the community, remember, there is an opportunity for something positive. There are ways that you can navigate without standing on the street corners, without making the wrong decision. There are opportunities. Seek those resources. Make sure you are connected. I don't know if it's here. I don't know if it's there, but there's opportunities for resources, opportunities for you to find a pathway that will open up the opportunities for you to make the right decision that will uplift you to the place that you need to be. We need more seekers. We need more people that are willing to stand up and tell their stories so that our young people and folks in the community that may have lost that information get an opportunity to understand there is a brighter way. There is another opportunity we can overcome. It's going to take the community together to walk through the struggle. It's going to take the community to find the solution to better our community. It's going to take the men and women of our community to really impact, invoke the change that is needed. It's going to take an entire village of folks to come together. What we're walking into in 2024, as we open the door, as we knock and open up doors, it's going to take some folks to explore new opportunities. It's going to take new lights being shined on the gap. It's going to take more people marching, stepping, and standing together. It's going to take all of us. We are here to walk with you. Here at both sides of the conversation, we will continue to uplift the voices of the people. We will continue to change the narrative. We will continue to talk about the stories and the things that impact the community. We will continue to bring people like Rodney to let you know there is hope. There is an opportunity for second chances in our community. We have some brothers that are locked up. We have some sisters that are locked up that can bring back the sauce, the game, to help change what's going on in our community. This pain, this hurt, these traumas that we continue to endure in our community, we must find a way to heal, relive, repair those harms so that we can uplift our community. With that being said, thank you all for tuning in today. Please don't think we're going away, okay? We're just taking a little winter recess. We're going to kick back a little bit, enjoy the family, and the football, and the New Year's, maybe some birthdays. I don't know. We're going to be here after the New Year's. We will be back. Look for us kicking off our first segment on June 10th for our Hidden Gem segment, and we'll be kicking off through the New Year's. Please tune in. Check out all of our social media handles as we're going to be putting more and more information out about the Bayview Collaborative, also about our upcoming bowling event and a lot of the community events that are going on in the community. So make sure you stay connected through the holidays. You'll see us. We might be live here and there, but our 3 shows a week will be down until after the New Year's. So community, enjoy your family, enjoy your community, be safe out there this holiday season. No drinking and driving, community, okay? Make sure that you are doing the things you need to check on your mental health, as right now, so many folks at this time of year deal with depression, anxiety. Check on your loved ones. Pick up the phone. Make sure you check in folks that you think might be okay, might not. The season of grief is here. Pray for the community. Uplift the people that need support. Make sure you check in on your loved ones. Sometimes the tough people you think are strong might be the weakest, and they might need you more than ever. With that being said, thank you, community, for being patient with us as we continue to evolve our organization and make sure that we do the things that we need to do to impact the community. Thank you to all of our both sides of the conversation followers, supporters, and folks that continue to help us be what we need to be. Lastly, thank you to all of our both sides of the conversation team and all of the folks behind the scenes that you don't see all the time that make tremendous sacrifice to make sure that our community gets the information, the resources, and access to what's going on in our city and across the Bay Area. We thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate the work that you all do. Keep grinding, team. We're going to keep doing the work that we do, community. We'll see you out in community. See some of you this weekend, as there are more community giveaways for the Christmas season. Make sure you tune in for the next show and after the New Year's, and we will be there with you. So have a good evening. Be blessed. Be safe out there, community. We should have an Educational Thursday segment this Thursday. We'll be letting you know if we will not. If not, we'll see you after the New Year's. Happy New Year's, community. We giving it to you now. See you in 2024. Make sure you knock on the door. You never know who's going to open it. All right. With that being said, the Bishop, we are out. See you all later. Have a great evening, everybody.